When this cheetah gave birth to cubs, her adorable litter broke records in the animal kingdom. Given that wild populations are dramatically declining, any cheetah birth is a reason to celebrate. However, when female Bingwa welcomed her litter at St. Louis Zoo in 2017, her record-breaking cubs were even more special than usual. St. Louis Zoo in Missouri first opened in 1910, and with over a century's experience, you'd think the facility had seen it all when it came to creatures in their care. However, staff were in for a shock. In 2017, the establishment's latest surprise came courtesy of its 4-year-old cheetah, Bingwa. The big cat, whose name is the Swahili word for champion, had been loaned to St. Louis Zoo from Wildlife Safari in Winston, Oregon, and she was set to make waves in her latest home. After Bingwa arrived at the zoo, she mated with a 9-year-old cheetah, Jason, who was also being loaned from White Oak Conservation in Yulee, Florida. And lo and behold, her keepers later discovered that she was expecting a litter. Cheetah pregnancies last around 3 months, after which Bingwa would be charged with caring for her babies alone. In the wild, absent fathers can pose a problem. That's because the mothers are forced to leave their cubs unattended when they go hunting, making them susceptible to threats. A litter of cheetahs will usually consist of 3 or 4 cubs, but sadly, it's likely that most of them will not reach adulthood in the wild. That's because, given that their mothers are forced to leave them a lot for the time, mortality rates among the young are as high as 90%. Since she lived in a controlled environment, thankfully, Bingwa needn't have worried about straying from her litter for too long. Zoo staff would continue to supply her with food, meaning she could spend more time rearing her cubs. In fact, Bingwa and her babies would be in extremely safe hands. That's because St. Louis Zoo is a major breeding facility for cheetahs, having welcomed over 50 cubs at its specialist center since 1974. So after Bingwa welcomed her babies, staff would closely monitor the family during the critical first few months. However, while the mother's life was easier than her counterparts in the wild, little did she know that she would still have her paws full. That's because when the time came for Bingwa to give birth to her babies in November of 2017, she welcomed a total of 8 cubs. This litter size, which consisted of 3 males and 5 females, was a first for St. Louis Zoo and the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, or AZA. Never before had a mama cheetah delivered and reared a litter of 8 babies at a zoo, according to research by the AZA. And those at the St. Louis Zoo were eager to celebrate Bingwa's amazing achievement online. Despite the excitement, the facility waited until January 2018 to announce the news. In a Facebook post, St. Louis Zoo wrote, "For the first time in St. Louis Zoo history, a cheetah has given birth to 8 cheetah cubs. The cubs, 3 males and 5 females, were born at the St. Louis Zoo River's Edge Cheetah Breeding Center on November 26, 2017. The post continued with a quick update on the family. Mother and cubs are doing well and will remain in their private indoor maternity den behind the scenes at River's Edge for the next several months, it read. The 8 births were particularly significant, considering the challenges faced by cheetahs in the wild. The wild cats were once found across large swaths of Africa and Asia. However, in the last 5 decades, they've become extinct in 13 countries. By breeding cheetahs in captivity, zoos are helping to protect the species from extinction. However, St. Louis Zoo also has a center in Africa, which is leading conservation efforts there. So while St. Louis Zoo worked on preserving her species' future, Bingwa was busy being a mom, and luckily, she was a natural. She's quickly become adept at caring for her very large litter of cubs, grooming, nursing, and caring for them attentively, Steve Bircher from St. Louis Zoo told People in January 2018. So in becoming a mother of a record-breaking 8 healthy babies, Bingwa has truly lived up to her champion name. Now, the zoo staff had to find suitable monikers for the litter, Once again, they turned to Swahili language for inspiration. Rather than trying to find meaningful names to suit the cubs' personalities, their carers took a more straightforward approach. They named the babies Moha, Mibli, Tattoo, Ni, Tano, Sita, Saba, and Nani, the numbers 1 to 8 in Swahili. For the first months of their lives, the 8 cubs remained in their special maternity wing with their mom. But by the time the babies had reached 6 weeks old, they slowly began to explore outside their protected environment. In May 2018, the then 5-month-old cubs were given access to their full habitat. Since May, the public has been able to view the young cheetahs at the zoo. And judging from the response they've had on social media, they're already becoming firm favorites.